What is good? What is up, you guys? So basically, as you could tell by the title, this is how to prepare for your Stateboard test if you're going to school for cosmetology, because that's what I went to school for. And yeah, I passed my test on the first time, and that's a blessing in itself. Okay, basically I am going to be running errands today while I'm doing this video, so hopefully it's not too distracting for y'all. And yeah, so before we get into this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and click that like button below if you like this video, and put a thumbs down if you think it could have been better. Okay, moving on to the next. Basically, I applied. It took me a minute to apply for it because I didn't have the money for it immediately. So it took me literally 4 months to get myself situated on that part. And y'all, that is totally okay. You know, I was stressed out about it because like I wanted to take my test straight out of school, but it gave me time to think and get my thoughts together and kind of like prepare for it ahead of time. So definitely don't think that you have to take your test out straight outside of school, because that might not be the best thing for you. And then again, it might be the best thing for you. It really just depends on the person. I applied for my test September 23rd. I know the date to be exact because y'all, I was so happy. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was thinking about it literally every day. And so yeah, so I applied for it on the 23rd. For October 20th, I scheduled my practical October 20th, and then I scheduled my written test October 19th. Basically, I had not a whole month, but like about a month to prepare for it. So this is the things that you're gonna need to prepare for the written test. We're gonna start off with the written test first. Written test is mostly the science. You have to study the bacteria. They're gonna ask you about like hair cutting techniques. They're gonna ask you about like some color. They're not gonna ask you any color questions. At least they didn't ask me any color questions. The only thing that they asked was basically like slicing. What terms do they use for slicing? And that would have been, the answers to that would have been like thin, thick, and medium. And so that's basically what you need to study. It's basically study the sciences, because it asks a lot about the diseases of the nails, of the scalp, of the skin, than anything else. They don't really ask y'all about color theory or like techniques and stuff like that. They don't. And so I just want to make sure you study the right thing. Excuse me, I'm using my sister's thingy, her stand, and it's a little wobbly. But mostly just study the science and you'll be good. Don't forget, like me, to study the bacteria. I was studying the science, but I didn't study the freaking bacteria. And good thing that that's one of the main things that I paid attention in school for. I got a freaking leaf on my under my windshield. That's one of the things I paid attention in school for, like, because that was like one of the first few phases, and I was really excited when I first started school, so I paid extra attention at that time. But just make sure you study the right things, y'all. All right, so the written is 100. It was 110 questions for me, and you have to make a 75% or higher. Y'all, I made a 79. I barely passed, but I still passed. Y'all, the biggest thing, a lady told me that her teacher told her to just focus on passing. Don't try to make the highest score. And that is a big thing for me. Like, I'm always trying to be perfect, Little Miss Perfect, and I was trying to make the highest score. Just focus on passing and don't try to make the highest score. So on the test, they're gonna give you an option to bookmark questions that are like confusing to you, that you're not sure about. Bookmark it, okay? And make sure you go back and go and check on it. Do not spend 5 minutes on one question. Move on to the next, because it is time. If you have 90 minutes to complete this test, okay? And you don't have all day, and that 90 minutes goes by fast whenever you're taking a 110 question test. just basically just use your time wisely, and yeah. All right, so for the practical part, the hands-on part, I would say really make sure and really stress checking your kit. Make sure you have everything for each section of the test, because they ain't gonna take it easy on you. They will not be like, oh, you can use this or you can use that. They're gonna say use what you got. If you forgot anything, they're gonna be like, use what you have. That's it. That's all they can tell you. So I'm telling y'all this because, first of all, I forgot my tweezers when it came down to the tweezing part of the test, and I told them I was like, I can't find my tweezers. I don't know where my tweezers was. I still don't know where my tweezers at to this day. But she told me, she was like, use what you have. And so I just used my fingers, and I was just plucking like that. Y'all was so drove, because that really had me shook, because I was like, because I actually double checked my kit. I should have checked it a third time, but I actually double checked my kit and made sure everything was there. And I did not look in my hair removal bag, honestly. If you want me to be real, I thought everything was there. So don't think, just make sure you check everything. Don't be like, oh, I know that that's there. Make sure you check everything, okay? Stress that. Check everything, check every bag, make sure everything is nice and neat. All right, cool. Next part. So, worry about yourself. Don't worry about nobody else. Worry about yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's only you that's gonna be getting that grade. It's only you, it's up to you to pass that test, not nobody else. And I'm saying that because they had girls in my testing site, and they were laughing at girls messing up, and like, because you're not supposed to talk, so they was just like laughing and like making eye contact with each other and stuff like that. But they ended up messing up too. Now, that's why I say worry about yourself. So worry about yourself and focus on you. And I would say pay attention to people around you, because it was certain things that girls around me was doing for their test that I would have forgot to do if I wasn't paying attention to them. So when I say worry about yourself, I mean, like, don't worry about nobody else making mistakes, and don't worry about how fast they're going and how fast they're finishing, because they're going to be people that finish before you, that finish a haircut before you, that finish the manicure before you. Just worry about yourself and make sure that you're getting all of the steps right, because they're paying attention to your technique and making sure you're doing things in the right order. Oh, y'all, make sure y'all wash y'all mannequin's hair really good, especially if you're using your mannequin that you took your practical with to graduate. Y'all, so I'm telling y'all this because I washed my mannequin's hair after my practical from school. But I never washed it good enough. I thought I did, but I realized that I didn't when it was time for the practical and we was going through the haircut, and I realized I still had the color simulated product in the hair. Like, it wasn't all over the hair, it was just stuck on the scalp. So make sure y'all really wash y'all mannequin's hair good. If y'all got new mannequins for y'all practicals, kudos to y'all. I didn't want to spend the extra monies. Make sure y'all fill up y'all water bottles ahead of time, like, because you got like the spray bottle, and then your perm solution, and then you have your manicure stuff for like the soil water and clean water. Make sure y'all fill that up ahead of time. Make sure y'all curl y'all mannequins the night before, because it is a cold test. They did not make y'all actually curl y'all mannequins, because that's one of the first things that y'all have to do. They don't let y'all curl y'all mannequins on the day of the test. I don't know how everybody's test is, but I only know because I took my test in Washington State. So I don't know how everybody else's test is, but I can just speak for Washington and Oregon. But yeah, make sure y'all curl y'all mannequins ahead of time. Make sure y'all put some spray on it to hold that curl, because they want to know if you know how to curl, and they're gonna be watching your technique. And make sure y'all using a comb when y'all curling to protect the client's scalp, because some people wasn't doing that, and they really pay attention to that. Make sure that y'all go on the DL Roop website. I don't know, I'm gonna put it in the link below, the DL Roop handbook thingy. so that y'all can go over that. It is literally everything, step by step by step by step. Everything that they're looking for, everything that they're checking for. It's really mostly about sanitation. Like, anytime your hand goes beneath that table, it don't matter what you're doing. If you're throwing anything in your containers that you're gonna have for like the sold linen, trash, it don't matter. Anytime your hand go beneath that table, sanitize your hands. If you think your hand went beneath that table, sanitize your hands. And I just want to input something else. It's obviously a different point in time because I'm in a different place. But don't leave nothing open. Don't leave your kids open. Don't leave none of your bags open. Make sure you close everything because that is a sanitary precaution. So just make sure as you're going in the bags, as you're going in your kit, just make sure you're closing up everything behind you. And make sure you sanitize your hands before you dig in the bag, because then everything in the bag will be considered contaminated. For y'all hair, make sure y'all put y'all hair up, because I had my hair down. I had it like this, and I had like a scarf on for that to like hold my hair back, but that wasn't even enough because my hair kept on still getting caught in the comb. Hopefully they never seen that. They probably did. And so just make sure y'all tie your hair up back out of your face, making sure that it is not coming up here. It is not able to come up here. Your hair needs to be back. Now that it's not a rule or anything, you won't get points taken off for your attire. I'm just saying for like safety precautions, just make sure that your hair is out of the way, because that is unsanitary for your hair to be touching implements that you're going to be using in the client's hair. What's next? Y'all wear all black, because I was the odd man out. I wore a black shirt and black shoes, but I wore some jeans and everybody else had all black on. So anything that I was doing wrong, I stood out. You want to try to blend in as nice as possible. Now, mind you, this is not a rule. They're not going to take your points off because you're not dressed right. But just dress appropriately. You dress like you're going to somebody and work in somebody's salon, okay? Make sure you look appropriate. Do your makeup. Make sure your hair is looking nice, because you're representing a hairstylist, and what hairstylists don't know how to do their hair. Make sure you bring your admissions paper and your license. Make sure you're like 15 to 30 minutes ahead of time there before. Y'all know what I mean. Make sure you're there ahead of time. Don't make it on time, because on time is late. Early is on time. And when you're late, you're shit out of luck. A girl was 15 minutes late and they did not let her in. So don't be that dummy, because you're going to have to repay that $300 and something. Well, I think it was like $117 for the practical. But you're going to have to pay that money again. And they're going to be able to keep your money and do whatever it is that they're going to do with it. So don't be that person. Y'all already should know, anybody that's watching this video, y'all already should know the order of the test. But it was thermal curling, hair cutting, and then you prepare for your new client, and then after that it's chemical waving, and then it's like the hair coloring parts where you got to do the little quadrants and stuff. So I actually forgot to say this, but there is a blood exposure one. You're basically gonna have a scenario where you accidentally cut yourself during a cutting service, and you have to demonstrate what you do in that situation. And that is right after the relax application, going into the hair removal portion. And then after hair coloring is the hair removal section, and then after hair removal is manicure section. For the manicure, the manicure is the biggest part of the test. If you fail the manicure section of the test, you failed the whole test, because it has so many steps to it. So really stress that manicure. I'm gonna send the link. I'm gonna put the link below of the video that I watched to prepare for the manicure part, because honestly, when I was in school and they taught us the manicure part, your girl's head wasn't there. I was just going with the motions, so I hadn't really remembered, so I had to go on YouTube and find a video for that. So I'm gonna put that link below, and just make sure y'all follow it step by step and really stress those steps, because that is the order that you need to go in. They're gonna tell y'all that y'all can put the nails on the mannequin hands. Don't do that. Mine popped off. And I had to go back. I had already polished it and it popped off, and I had to go and put some polish on the regular nail, so it looked crazy. So don't do that unless you really know what you're doing, because I didn't. And I think that's really it, y'all. Just make sure that it's not really anything that you can prepare for the practical. Just making sure that your kit is all there, unless you want to do like a mock practical and kind of just pretend like it's a real practical and just like go over everything. That's another way that you can prepare if you're one of those people that really have to prepare. But honestly, I only prepared for my school practical. I did not prepare for the Stateboard practical. I made sure my kit was all set up, and I made sure I curled my mannequin's hair. But other than that, I did not prepare for that practical at all. And you could have tell, because I was messing up, okay? And making sure when you're doing the waxing part, make sure you test the wax on yourself first, okay? On yourself first. That's really it, y'all. For the rating part, just make sure y'all are really studying. It's gonna be some things on that test that you never learned in school, or that you haven't seen or heard of before, but don't let that knock you off your game. You got this. So I want to thank y'all for watching this video. If I left anything out, or if you have any more questions about your test, feel free to comment below. I will be happy to help, because people helped me prepare for my test. I was asking a lot of people who had took their test and passed, and got information from them. And the best advice I got before I took my test was just pass it. Don't worry about being perfect, just pass. Get a passing grade. You have to get a 75% or higher to pass. So with that being said, honey, you got this. Believe in yourself, because if you don't, then how are you going to expect other people to? You got this. Make sure you say a prayer before you take your test, or whatever you guys believe in. Do whatever it is that you do with your beliefs. I pray and I talk to God, and so that's what I did, and it got me through. Passed my test on the first time. And I was nervous. I didn't think I was gonna pass, because during my test, the lady, she stopped me in the middle of doing my waxing part, and she was like, do not proceed. I thought I was gonna fail after that. Like, I just thought the lady was really out to get me. But I passed. I made an 80 out of 100 on my practical, and I made a 79 out of 100 on my written test. You're supposed to score a 75 or higher to pass it. So remember, you got this, and believe in yourself. So thank y'all for watching, and